About to start the movie. Get your popcorn, get your popcorn in line. Let the show begin.
Lights, camera, and action.
The championship is finally here. Pioneer Football League preview show. We are here from the man cave. As you can see, we got all the monitors up. We have on the side here on the main panel the Pioneer Football League website, which is www.pioneer-league.com. It is updated, fully stocked with information on the All-Star game. This upcoming championship game, our Super Sunday edition. We have 5 games starting at 10 a.m. Doors will open, or gates will open at around 9 o'clock for us to check everybody in and get everybody started. A few things else that are on the website right now. You can see the Pioneer Football League All-Star schedule, which is fully out, along with practice schedules and everything like that, so all those details have been announced. We also have a full schedule of what Super Sunday is going to be, including our skills competitions, field goal contest, punt, passing, kick, obstacle course, and the whole bit. So it should be a whole ton of fun. So let's get to the action right away. We're going to go to our first game. Our first game, as you can go up to the panels right now, pits the Bronx Nittany Lions and the Bronx Steelers. This is a great battle that everybody's anticipating. Two teams that are really familiar with one another. Coach Thurman and Coach Sean do a great job with these guys, and they meet up with each other a couple times a year. This time, it may be the first time they are meeting each other for the championship on the line. So the 10 and under category, let's talk about that for a second when it comes to the Steelers. The Steelers play very physical football, so much so that it gets a lot of people upset. Can't get mad at that. That's what football is about. The Bronx Nittany Lions, they are led by 2 players specifically that have really carried this team. Number 1 and number 50. Number 50 is a big boy. Everybody wants to see his ID. They think that he's driving up to the game before the kickoff and such. But these guys are really playing hard. They've had an awesome season, and now they're looking to get this championship ring in the 2013 season. So good luck to both teams, and that's going to be our 10 o'clock kickoff at Evander Childs High School. So let's talk about the 12 and unders for a second. And what we'll do is, as we're waiting on these 12 and unders, and I'll give you the full preview of that, I want to go to see what some of our experts say. So let's cut real quick and see what Fridge has to say about these games. We're going to put up his picks really quickly in the screen so you can check out what he has picked for the championship game. Let's see what Fridge is thinking. The Long Island Spartans and the Bronx Nittany Lions battling for the 12 and under championship. This one has some special headlines to it. The Long Island Spartans are going for an undefeated season, which happened twice last year. This year, only one team is able to accomplish that feat, and that is the Long Island Spartans. The Bronx Nittany Lions come into this game as a huge underdog. These guys are really, really young. Although the Nittany Lions made it to the 12 and under championship last year, this is a new set of kids that Coach Thurman has, and we will see whether those guys can live up to the high expectations of the Bronx Nittany Lion program, who took home 2 of the trophies last year, including the 12 and under division. What we'll see in this game is the best passing attack in the Pioneer Football League. The Long Island Spartans throw around that ball. So we'll see whether the quarterback can get in touch with some of these receivers early. And what's so impressive about it is not only do they have a quarterback that can get the ball down the field, they have receivers that can catch the football and catch anything that's in their area code, which is very, very impressive. So we shall see whether the Long Island Spartans can finish out their undefeated season. We're going to take a look at that. That is our 11:30 kickoff at Evander Childs High School at 800 East Gun Hill Road. Make sure that when you come to the game, again, before you get there, make sure you secure your tickets with a Pioneer Football League program, because if you wait until game day and try to get it at the gate, I'm going to charge you $10. Any of these Pioneer programs are going to charge you $5, so make sure you get those tickets early. We got some great prizes for raffle tickets. Once you come in the gate, donate an extra $5 to some of these programs, and make sure you get some extra chances to win one of our great prizes from the New York Football Giants. In the meanwhile, let's take a look at JJ's picks for who's going to win the championships. I have a feeling that we know who he thinks is going to win that 18 to 21 division. Bronx Colts and the Bronx Steelers. This is our 14 and under championship game. Kickoff for this one should be in or around 1 o'clock. Let's talk about these two teams for a second. This is one of the more anticipated matchups when it comes to Championship Sunday, because these are two teams that are very evenly matched. Their skill position players are out of this world. You have a lot of talent on both of these squads at the running back position and the secondary position. The skill guys in here fly around pretty good, so you won't even realize that you're at a 14 and under game. You're going to think that you were at a high school game. The Bronx Steelers have a really potent backfield, and those guys get out on the edge pretty quickly. So the question is, who's going to be able to tackle on the perimeter? And that's where this game is really going to swing one way or the other. Can the Bronx Colts go back-to-back with their championships? Well, Coach Free seems to think so. He has that team looking pretty good. They're a very disciplined squad. Their offense can go on 2 or on 3 or on 4 on every single play without an offsides call. So these guys show how disciplined they truly are. On the Steelers side of the ball, again, a very physical bunch. Coach Sean has those guys tackling and blocking with the best of them when it comes to being physical in nature. So where is this one going to play and come into play? These guys are going to be hitting something fierce. They're going to have the championship trophy in the background. They're going to come out hitting pretty hard. So where you're going to see this game swing is in the turnovers. First team to put that ball on the floor may be the difference in this game. Expect a lot of offense in this one. You're not going to have a pretty low score in this one. These teams can put up some points. So that's our 14 and under preview. Make sure you get out there for that game. And now we're going to check out the man behind the lens, Shamel Jackson's pick. Let's see who he picked. I have a feeling that his 15 to 17 pick is going to be pretty interesting as well. We're just a few hours at this particular point away from the championship game as we kick off on Sunday. The 3 o'clock game is our collegiate game between the Bronx Colts and the New York Knights. These two teams very familiar with one another. They've battled in the spring during the Spring Classic, and they also battled again in the early part of this season. They split the matchups this regular season. The Knights gave the Colts all they could handle in the first matchup by the score of 22-0. Then the Colts came back and got some revenge on the Knights by a score when they played, actually, ironically so, at Evander for the second meeting. So round 3 is back at Evander, and the Colts are hoping that round 2 is a semblance or an indication of things to come. For the Knights, they think they have this thing pretty much figured out. Now, need I even go over the fact that number 9, Raphael Trammell, is somebody who's a very dangerous man when it comes to returning the football. He's been asking all week to kick him the football, and I don't think, I'm not a betting man, but I don't think that the Bronx Colts will kick to him in this particular game. I think they learned their lesson last year, in last year's championship game when Raphael returned 2 kicks for touchdowns. So where is this game going to be won or lost? Well, the Knights love to run the football. Coach Paul has this thing down to a science when it comes to heavy-duty downhill running. He takes pride in those horses up front. He wants those hogs to really push the pile. Now, for the Colts, it's just going to be a game of attrition. Can they last through the whole entire game? A lot of those guys are going both ways. A lot of those guys get a lot of reps. So when it comes to Championship Sunday, I don't think there is any breaks. I don't think there is a breather. There is no tapping out of this one. The one that taps out is the one that taps out at the very end. So in this game, it's going to be a tough one to call one way or another. These teams are very, very familiar with one another, and that's when mistakes come into play. Who's going to make that critical mistake at the opportune or inopportune time, so to speak? Well, if you talk to Coach Paul, by the way, Coach Paul, congratulations on your impending engagement and marriage, and we wish you safe travels down to Florida, as he just announced that he'll be moving down there to settle down and start his family down there. So when it comes down to it, how are the Knights going to send off Coach Paul? Well, when it comes down to it, if you look on Facebook, Coach Paul seems pretty confident in what they're doing. The Colts, there seems to be a little more quiet than usual. And if you check, as you can see in the background here, I have on the computer right over here, Facebook, which we keep open. The Pioneer League is on Facebook. Make sure you check us out because we do have that updated as well as the website. You can see the graphics up there. And let me also mention that the Pioneer League has literally thousands of pictures. We don't watermark them, we don't mark them up or what have you. This is our gift to our players because we appreciate the blood, sweat, and tears that they put on the line on a weekly basis. So make sure you enjoy those, send them to family members, and make sure that you get on there and check out what we got. So in the meantime, we have Jeffrey Hunter, PFL trustee, one of our camera guys, who is making his championship picks. Let's see who he has picked to win the championship. Now we get to our main event, if you will. This year, instead of having the collegians go last, we actually have a marquee matchup in our senior division as the way to end our championship Sunday. We have the Bronx Buccaneers and the Harlem Jets. Reason why we chose this game is that the first game received so much rave reviews because of the billing going into the game, where Coach O'Neal said, and quote, "The only reason why the Harlem Jets went undefeated last year is because they didn't play us." And then proceeded to get his team on the field against the Jets and come out with a victory. That game was very well played, but the Jets feel as though they left a little bit on the table in that matchup, and they'll be looking for some revenge this time. Now, the Harlem Jets are known, once you play them the second time, it usually means that they are even more prepared. Preparation is a big thing in this sport, and some of our teams do a lot of film study, a lot of background on teams just to make sure that they know what they're doing when they hit the field. The second time is usually the time that the Jets really pull out all the stops, as the Yellow Jackets unfortunately learned last week. So this week, we'll see if the round 2 edition of Buccaneers Harlem Jets has a similar result. If you ask Coach Neal, who ends up getting our Coach of the Year honor, big shout out to Coach O'Neal for the award. Congratulations. If you ask Coach O'Neal, he's confident coming into this game. His guys have absolutely no fear. And this started in the spring. A lot of those young guys got a lot of experience and got on the field in the spring, which was against a lot of 18 to 21 competition. So coming into the fall, where it's back to 15 to 17, a lot of those guys got even more comfortable in their skin, so to speak, and now they'll line up with anybody. They really don't care. So what is going to be the keys to this game? Well, for the Harlem Jets, they come into the game and want to impose their will right away. Now, during the course of this season, we've seen rarely the Jets go 4 quarters of competitive football. The Buccaneers, even less so. Buccaneers have been wiping the floor with some people. So the question is, when it gets into those later quarters, who is going to make the play when it matters? Well, the Jets got a little bit of a scare against the Yellow Jackets 2 weeks ago, which they definitely learned from, as we saw from last week. The Bronx Buccaneers really haven't been tested or put on the ropes very much so, where they felt uncomfortable. So we'll see in that fourth quarter, if it's a tight game, whether the experience of the Jets comes into play or this Buccaneers team, who is the number 1 seed, really has what it takes to go over the top and become a champion. So O'Neal and Ali, that's a really great matchup. Two distinguished coaches that have a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge of what they're doing. And I know the stands will be packed for this one. This should be an absolute slobber knocker. So this is Commissioner Patterson. That's the preview of all 5 of our games. We're going to give you some more details on some of the other things going on in just a minute. So that's it for our championship preview. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for an awesome year of Pioneer football. This was year 2 that we're finishing up. I want to take some time to thank a couple of people. The PFL trustees, Fridge, JJ, Shamel. You guys are awesome. Make this league as great as it is on the media end. Jeff Hunter, another one of our guys that have been working hard and really participating in getting this community thing off the ground. Joe Costanzo, sorry. Thank you again for your input. We definitely made the benefit game for John Gogarty something special that his dad will, I'm sure, remember for a long time. To all the coaches around the PFL, thank you all the way down from the 10 and unders all the way up to the collegiate level. Those assistants that never get to shine, those guys that are in the trenches that are taping up ankles and then calling plays, to all those guys that are buckling snaps and trying to get teams and carpools and such. We want to thank those folks as well. To all the team owners, for all of our organizations, that's what really makes this thing run. I want to personally thank you guys for making this season a very successful season of Pioneer football, and in the true spirit of fair play, in the true spirit of youth development and community service, you guys are doing an awesome thing to benefit these kids. So it's finally time for that championship game. That time has come, so